just love donuts so much, man.
Well, if you love donuts so much, why don't you marry him?
Where is it?
What?
You know what I'm talking about. Where is my donut?
Okay, first of all, don't ever touch me again. And second of all, I just saw Kelly walk that way with a donut.
Are you telling me that my donut's been taken?
Wait, why did you say it like that?
I didn't say it like anything. I just said that my donut's been taken.
Like that. You just said, taken.
I don't sound like that.
That's exactly what you sound like.
Okay, look, I don't have time for this, all right? Look, Kelly must pay for his crimes against me and my donut. And my revenge, it will be as sweet as...
A donut?
No, that's not it.
Hello?
You don't know who I am. You don't know what I want.
I know who this is, Nathan. You called me from your personal phone.
Come on! Just let me finish my speech. I practice it and everything. What I do have is a very limited set of skills. Skills that I acquired with very little to no effort. Skills that make me a nightmare.
I can hear you. You're right outside my office. He won't leave me alone about this. He keeps following me everywhere. Well, you know, he is standing right behind you right now.
Come on, Jason! I'm trying to get my revenge on Kelly!
Morning, Nathan.
I will find you, and I will kill you.
Nathan, you know you're talking out loud, right?
Jeez, man, leave me alone. I'm just trying to narrate my revenge.
Yeah, that door takes a while.
Shut up. I'm trying to make a dramatic exit.
Kind of ruins the dramatic exit there, don't you think?
Why don't you just get another donut?
Jeez, that's not the point, all right, man. Okay, so maybe you haven't plotted any revenge plans over anything ridiculous lately, but have you ever been hurt so much that you just can't let it go? Every time you think about that person, you can't stop thinking about what they did and you just get so angry. And in the end, we just want to get them back. We want them to pay for what they've done. I think this is pretty natural for us to want to do, but for those of us who follow Jesus, we've been given a new rule for this. Over the past couple of weeks, we've been learning new rules for relationships. But they're not really new because Jesus set them up. But by new, we mean that they're not the natural way we treat others. Normally, we treat others as they treat us. If you hurt us, we'll hurt you back. An eye for an eye kind of thing. But Jesus sets up a new rule. It looks like this. He says, you've heard the law that says the punishment must match the injury. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. That's the old rule, the old law. But I say, do not resist an evil person. If someone slaps you on the right cheek, offer the other cheek also. The new rule is forgiveness. When someone hurts you, you don't hurt them back. Don't repay evil for evil. When someone hurts you, you love them back. Why? Because we forgive as God forgave us. And you know how God's forgiven you? No matter how many bad things you've done, because of Jesus' death on the cross, you can be forgiven of that. And so Jesus says the new rule is, you forgive as I have forgiven you. He even tells a story one time about a servant who was forgiven of this huge, unrepayable debt by this king. And then that servant turns around and hunts down another person to make them repay this tiny debt. Well, what happens to this ungrateful servant? When the king finds out how he wouldn't forgive as he'd been forgiven, the king chooses not to forgive the debt and throws him and his family in jail. And Jesus is setting up a rule. He's saying, forgiven people, forgive people. If you want to follow God, if you want to live as a forgiven person, you have to forgive people. It's what it means to love like Jesus. But they deserve it. It doesn't matter. You forgive as God's forgiven you. But if you knew what they did, I know, and they were wrong, but God says forgive as you've been forgiven. And just like the servant who had been forgiven of that huge debt, you have been forgiven of a huge debt. So forgive as you've been forgiven. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to happen overnight. But if we want to truly follow God, we have to forgive as we've been forgiven. So when someone hurts us, we don't seek revenge. We don't gossip about them behind their back. We don't hold on to anger and grudges. We forgive as we've been forgiven. So talk in your groups about how we can better do that, and then we'll move on.